Something just feels off about how we discuss the Indianapolis Colts offensive line, and we need to have a serious conversation about it today. Despite years of front office instability, Chris Ballard has somehow maintained an elite offensive front that remains the undisputed backbone of this roster heading into the 2026 season. It is fascinating that even as the team faces a must-win campaign, the trenches remain the only place where we have zero concerns about performance. And honestly, the more details come out, the harder it is to ignore what is going on behind the scenes. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city in the comments. Let us dive in. The most enduring irony of the Chris Ballard era in Indianapolis is that while our quarterback situation has frequently been a revolving door, our offensive line remains a bedrock of stability and high-level production. Despite the broader failures of the last 9 seasons, Ballard has successfully rebuilt this unit into a consistently dominant force, setting the stage for head coach Shane Steichen to lead a serious charge in the 2026-27 season. Much of this sustained excellence is directly attributable to offensive line coach Tony Sparano Jr., who has transformed raw talent like Bernard Raymond into a $100 million asset, while simultaneously maximizing the output of seasoned veterans and unearthing gems in the later rounds of the draft. With longtime right tackle Braden Smith now gone in free agency, we are pinning our hopes on Jalen Travis to anchor that side. Travis, a 6'8", 340-pound force, showed significant promise during his rookie campaign, specifically during a 5-game stretch where he allowed only 1 sack and 10 pressures on 168 pass-blocking snaps, according to Pro Football Focus analyst Zach Hicks. What nobody is talking about, however, is the immense pressure this puts on our depth chart to perform immediately if injury strikes. While our projected starting 5 feels set, relying on unproven commodities like Dalton Tucker and rookie Jalen Farmer to fill the gaps creates a nervous tension for those of us watching from the stands. We have grown accustomed to elite play, so watching these younger men step into the light will be the definitive test of whether Sparano Jr. has truly built a self-sustaining culture. If the line holds, Daniel Jones might have a career year, but if these transitions fail, our entire offensive identity could crumble under the weight of those expectations. Jalen Travis is currently anchoring our offensive line, a decision that carries immense risk considering he only started 5 games during his rookie season. This transition to a full-time starter role represents the most significant gamble the organization has taken since the early Chris Ballard years. Back then, the front office was desperately scrambling to rebuild a unit that had been neglected for far too long, leading to a decade of instability that defined an entire era of Colts football. Now, we are placing our faith in a player who recorded just 1 sack and 10 pressures allowed on 168 pass-blocking snaps, according to Pro Football Focus, during that brief late-season stretch. This is where it gets real, as we must reconcile these promising flashes with the reality that our starting right tackle vacancy was created by the departure of a veteran fixture in Braden Smith. Behind closed doors, the staff likely views the 6'8", 340-pound Travis not just as a replacement, but as the physical prototype for the next decade. Similar transitions occurred when we moved on from previous staples, and the front office is clearly betting that the synergy between Shane Steichen and Tony Sparano Jr. will mask any growing pains. They are leaning heavily into the philosophy that offensive line success is a product of development rather than just high-priced free agency additions. If this gamble fails, the pressure on Daniel Jones will skyrocket immediately after his return from a severe Achilles injury. However, the confidence shown by the coaching staff in this succession plan suggests they believe they have uncovered a hidden gem. With young depth pieces like Jalen Farmer and Dalton Tucker waiting in the wings, the leadership seems convinced that this unit will remain a top 5 force despite the significant personnel turnover occurring across the league this season. As we stare down the barrel of the 2026-27 season, our Indianapolis Colts find themselves in a precarious must-win situation that puts every single decision made in the front office under a microscope. This matters right now because the team is banking on Daniel Jones to maintain his resurgence coming off an Achilles tear, meaning the offensive line must provide an impeccable shield to justify that high-stakes gamble. The bottom line here is that Chris Ballard has masterfully constructed a unit that allows for zero excuses from an offensive standpoint. With Braden Smith departing in free agency, we are looking at a major shift on the right side where 6'80", 340-pound Jalen Travis steps into the full-time role after a strong 5-game finish last year. According to Pro Football Focus, Travis allowed just 1 sack and 10 pressures across 168 pass-blocking snaps against tough playoff-caliber opponents like the Jaguars and 49ers, proving he is ready to anchor that flank. These trench battles will define our matchups against teams like the Texans and the Jaguars, where controlling the line of scrimmage is the only path to victory in an unforgiving division. Our depth looks sturdy as well, with rookie Jalen Farmer serving as the 6th man and Dalton Tucker providing reliable cover at center. While the league evolves, the continuity fostered by Tony Sparano Jr. remains our greatest weapon for sustaining a top 5 performance level across the board. If this group maintains the high standard set during the last 3 seasons, our path to the playoffs becomes significantly more manageable, regardless of the defensive challenges we face down the stretch. We have the foundational pieces in place to dominate the line of scrimmage, providing the stability our quarterback desperately needs to keep our postseason dreams alive and well this winter. While the Chris Ballard era in Indianapolis has faced scrutiny, the consistency of our offensive line remains a remarkable bright spot that demands our appreciation as loyal fans. The primary upside of this unit is rooted in the mentorship of Coach Tony Sparano Jr., whose ability to transform raw prospects like Bernhard Raimann into high-value assets and nurture consistent starters is nothing short of impressive. By fostering a culture of resilience and physical toughness, he has ensured that our front lines provide a stable foundation for the offense. And this is the part that gets me, because we are banking heavily on Jalen Travis to step into the massive role left by Braden Smith. While his 5-game stretch against tough playoff opponents showed promise with just 1 sack and 10 pressures allowed on 168 pass-blocking snaps according to Pro Football Focus, there is an inherent risk in relying on a second-year player to maintain a top-tier standard. Developing depth through Jalen Farmer and Dalton Tucker is a sound strategy. Yet we must acknowledge that inexperience could lead to communication lapses during high-pressure situations. Analysts from the Colts Daily Digest have pointed toward both Farmer and Tucker as vital pieces in this succession plan, suggesting that the team has built a reliable bridge to sustain success. My honest take here is that while the organization clearly values the internal growth of these young men, the expectations might be slightly inflated by recent success stories. Transitioning from potential to sustained performance is rarely a straight line in the NFL, and I am not entirely sold that the depth chart is as foolproof as the front office suggests. Nevertheless, if the chemistry continues to hold under the watchful eye of Sparano Jr., our offensive front should remain among the most formidable in the league throughout the upcoming season. As we look toward the 2026-27 campaign, the enduring stability of our offensive line under General Manager Chris Ballard and Coach Tony Sparano Jr. serves as the true foundation for this franchise. While the league often prioritizes flashy headlines, we have instead cultivated a culture of sustained trench dominance that allows our quarterback to operate without excuses. Let's be real. Having a reliable unit anchored by a $100 million left tackle in Bernhard Raimann and the Hall of Fame trajectory of Quentin Nelson provides a level of certainty that is rare in modern football. This means that as we transition into a must-win era for owner Carly Ursay-Gordon, the team is built to compete in the trenches against anyone. You should feel a deep sense of confidence heading into this season because we have a proven succession plan that has already been tested. Jalen Travis, a 6'8" and 340 lb mammoth, performed as a top 25 offensive tackle according to Pro Football Focus during his final 5 games last year. With fresh depth pieces like Jalen Farmer and Dalton Tucker ready to step in, our front 5 remains a consensus top 5 unit in the league. This level of internal development allows the team to pivot from the era of aging veterans toward a sustainable future without sacrificing performance. Does the successful transition from Braden Smith to Jalen Travis make you feel more confident in Chris Ballard's ability to find gems in the 4th round of the draft? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. For the shoe, I'll see you in the next one. Whether the team makes the playoffs or misses the mark entirely, we will be here covering every single snap. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Colts content coming your way.